TJ, the Wheel Deal coming at you live. It is Friday, TGIF, baby. We're talking February 21st, 11:09 a.m. Central Time, Texas time. I'm 4 minutes late. Nothing's changed. I'm always late. My wife rubbed off on me option. I used to be the guy that was always 15 minutes early. Now we're fashionably late to everything. You know what I'm saying?
I tell you, nothing wrong with that, man.
How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good. This is the portfolio update number one on the $50,000 account. The Tasty Trade portfolio update number one, road to 250K. So I'm gonna title them all the same, and I'm gonna use the same thumbnail for everything. That way, y'all can click on that one, and it's the one with me and my son, and it says road to 250K, Jeremiah 29:11. Right. So quote of the day is going to be, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So I think that scripture is very apropos. It's very appropriate because one day my wife and I will no longer be here. I'm not sure if the wife and I are going to have a kid of our own or not, but I have my son. So at the end of the day, he's obviously going to inherit and do that kind of thing, right? So I just think that scripture is very appropriate for what's going on, and it happens to be like my top two or three scripture in the entire Bible. So anyway, talk to me about this morning. How's everything going, brother? I'm excited that it's a new day. It's a new day. I'm excited about learning the Tasty Trade platform because when I first saw it, my God, I was so intimidated. Option. Because if there's one word that I could describe Tasty Trade platform, it's busy.
Yeah.
It's a very busy platform. So you have to learn how to read the tape. Mm-hmm. And once you learn how to read the tape, it's actually very simple because your eye is going to go to what's pertinent, what's important to you. Mm-hmm. So talk to me about your experience, brother, because I want to eat some of the soup. I got some chicken caldo right here. So I'd like you to do some of the talking right now. Talk to me about what was your experience whenever you went over to the Tasty Trade platform? Like, how did you make the adjustments? Were you on a different platform previously, or how did that work for you?
Yeah, for me, I was on TradeStation, so I don't know if anyone traded on TradeStation and used their platform. Their platform is difficult. It was difficult for me, so I kind of jumped between TradeStation and Thinkorswim. So both of those platforms it's just kind of hard for me to trade on. But once I got to Tasty Trade, being that I came from those are two busy, platforms as well. Tasty Trade or Tastyworks, that platform was just more basic and everything was just right there for me to see. So it just made things a lot more easier for me. And like you said, once you begin to know what you're looking for, then it makes it, a lot easier because everything is just sitting right there.
Agreed. It's so easy for me now. I don't know what I was so afraid of, but it's like, dude, I remember when I was Android first before Apple.
Okay.
And dude, I fought this thing, yo. Like I fought this thing, and everybody that had the Apple phone was like, dude, you're going to feel like you were married to the wrong woman whenever you go over to the Apple phone because it's so easy. And I was like, yeah, but you can do all this nerdy stuff on Samsung. Mm-hmm. Or I remember I had to Google the Windows phone for a while, one where like you can pull out the QWERTY keyboard or whatever. So it was like, it looked all cool. I didn't use any of that shit though.
Okay.
So, hey, what do y'all think about my beanie, dude? How much do y'all think I paid for this beanie right here in New York City?
In New York?
Yeah, I was in New York. I bought this in New York. How much do y'all think I paid for this beanie?
Oh, $20.
On the chat, give me a price on how much y'all think I paid for that beanie in New York.
Did you pay for it outside or from a store? Did you buy it from a store?
It was a store.
Okay.
It was in Saks Fifth Avenue though.
Oh, no.
Have y'all never heard of a street called Canal Street?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
$5, bro, for the beanie. Damn. $5 for the beanie. And look at the inside of this beanie. It's got like some little wool action. Baby, this thing's legit. I don't know. I don't know if the N and the Y is straight or not because it was on Canal Street. If y'all know anything about Canal Street, it's where you can buy Louis Vuitton, not Louis Vuitton. You know what I'm saying? It's where you can buy bikes, not Nikes.
Yeah, everything right on the street corner.
But dude, yo, this thing here, I was cold. And they had this beanie there, and the guy wanted 10. I'm like, yo, dude, all I got is $5, yo. It's like just like we flea market action.
Damn
and the guy's like, take it for you, take it. You know, he was from India or whatever. And bro, dude, I put it on, and it was the best investment of my life at the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's already survived one wash. So we good. I mean, I already won. So anyway, so I didn't get a Rolex or I used to call them Folexes, fake Rolex. They got all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, all types of shit out there, just right on the corner too.
It's crazy. And then right below Canal, you have Tribeca. So Tribeca is the triangle below Canal Street. That's what Tribeca stands for. And that whole area is interesting.
Yeah.
And if you want the best Italian food in this country, you want to go to Little Italy. And we went to a place called Danico's. My goodness, bro.
Okay.
And everybody in the kitchen's fat, so you know you can trust them. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't ever trust a skinny chef, bro. You gotta be fat, full of cholesterol. You know, veins bursting everywhere.
But you got Chinatown and Little Italy, all of that's over there. Chinatown.
Anyway, I missed you guys. I haven't been going live for the public. This has only been members only for a little while. Just for protection. Just for protection because there's a big migration going on over to this platform. And we don't want... Don't choke me out, Shamu. Don't choke me out, man. This dude's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. So I'm pretty good at jiu-jitsu. There's levels to that game, though. You follow me? He's one of these slippery guys that no matter what happens, he'll freaking slither his way out of there like a fucking snake. You know? There's a dude, my professor, Daniel Pinheiro. He's like a 5th-degree black belt in jiu-jitsu. There's very few of them in the country. And then there's people that have this thing called the red belt. This is like the Bruce Lee type shit of their craft, right? And bro, it doesn't matter what you do. This dude, first of all, he won't tap out. Because I've gotten him in situations and I have a real good guillotine choke because I'm strong and I know how to use my lats and I know how to I understand leverage and stuff. I got him on my guillotine choke one time on purpose. He let me, bro, and I was like, dude, I literally lifting this dude off the ground, bro. No matter what, he won't tap. It's like tap or nap. They'll take a nap before they tap, bro. Like they have too much pride.
Dang.
It's shit, not me, bro. I'm like, I like to breathe, bro. There's something about breathing that really appeals to me, Option.
Oh yeah, me too.
There's something about breathing that really appeals to me. So guys, y'all should see the whole squiggly things, right? Tell me if y'all see the squiggly things.
Yeah, I see.
So it's like the 3-dimension. It's like we're like in an episode of Interstellar right now, right? So anyway, now you should be able to see the platform. Yes or no?
Yep, I see it.
Y'all see the platform? What are they saying on the chat? Give me because I can't see you guys now.
Let me see.
Give me a thumbs up if you can see the platform and you can see Neo on the top.
Everybody's saying yeah. Everybody's saying yeah.
Okay, super. So this is what's going on here. There's 3 positions here. We got CleanSpark, SoFi, Neo. Over here, you're going to see TJ the Wheel Joe watch list. I got Neo, CleanSpark, Riot, SoFi, TSLL. That's it because I don't intend on using anything else in this portfolio. It's going to be those guys. One of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of those 5, or hopefully all of them, or a fraction of them, are going to get this account to $250,000. I firmly believe it. So let's read the tape. How do you read the tape? So starting at the top, I just click on CleanSpark and it's going to tell me there. If you see ITM option, that means what?
In the money.
So that means that this option is in the money. So what is it? It's 10 contracts expiring on March the 21st. So 28 days out, a $10 cash secured put. So you see that in red at 976 because CleanSpark's getting its butt kicked today, probably just like the rest of the market. I'm not sure. I haven't turned on CNBC or anything. So that's what's going on. You want to help them read the tape option here? Like, what are we looking at right here?
Well, like you said, it's just a if you click on the trade, not trade to your left.
This
Come
guy right
down.
here?
Yep.
Okay.
And open up the 28-day. Pretty much like he said, he's just selling that in the money put, right? It's that in the money right now. And he's selling 10 contracts of that. So, that's pretty much.
So I wanted to add to these. If I was like super bullish, and this copper strip right there, you want to tell them what that copper strip is?
That's the expected move. That's the expected move in that cycle. So you can see that in two places. You can see it off of that from that copper strip. And if you look over to your right, where the implied volatility is, where it say IVX 84.8% in the one, and in parentheses, that little, I'm talking about that little blue line straight across, it say $1.35. So that's the expected move for that cycle, saying that within that 28 days, it's only expected to move plus or minus $1.35.
Right. So pretty cool. And if I wanted to sell more puts, I could simply just hit the bid, and on the top it says sell. So I can just click right there, and then it's going to auto populate an order for me. And then I just add the quantity. I could either do it here, I could manually type it. So if I wanted to sell like 10 more, I would simply just hit 10 more if I'm bullish. And then I just hit review and send, and it's going to tell me there the individual account, 10 CleanSpark sell option with the credit of $950. And then the buying power is reduced by 4409. And on the top, it tells you like your options buying power, the stock buying power, etc. So I, theoretically be okay doing this trade if I was extremely bullish. Now, if I don't want to do it, I'm just like checking it out, well, then you just clear order, no harm, no foul. Or if I wanted to get more conservative option, I could probably just click this $9 one right here, correct? And I can do the same quantity over there. Like if I knew that I wanted to potentially own them at 10, but I want to collect more credits, but I want to be more conservative, kind of implementing maybe the 25-25-50 rule, where I'm going to go 25% of the portfolio or the position sizing here at 10. I will go another 25% at 9, and then I will really be loading the boat at 7 or 8. So I could like just start positioning that already if I wanted to stay in this same cycle. If I wanted to go to a different cycle, I just got to click the dates, and then it would automatically take me to that cycle, correct?
Correct.
I've been practicing on the platform. Can you tell?
Yeah. And before you do that, the other thing that you can also do is, remember, we always speak about selling the other side, which it costs you nothing to do that. So if you could just show them an example, if let's say, for instance, you don't feel that the stock is going to go past the expected move. So if you sold the 11 bid on the 11 call and sold 10 contracts, or you would see that it pretty much wouldn't cost you no buying power, because it doesn't.
So you hit review and send. You see that buying power, $26 to bring in another $440 in credit. Now, option.
That's where I live, baby.
Option. Where I grew up, they would call that a naked call. Yes or no?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have.
So talk to me about the gimmies and the gotchas while I sip on this soup.
Well, you have risk to the upside, right? So that's a given, But in this game, it's all about the credits, in my opinion. And I mean, if we understand that CleanSpark is only projected to move $1.35,
it's a calculated risk.
Yeah. And I mean, if you go all the way to the 2000 April cycle, or if you minimize it, it ain't really expected to make such a big move. So I wouldn't be scared to manage that risk for the amount of credit, because it's not really expecting a big move, and it costs me nothing to do.
Or you could also clear that order, and you can be a little bit more conservative and be like, well, what about the $12 one?
Yeah, if you wanted to, you can do the same thing.
Yeah, you do the $12 one and be like, okay, well, how about I gamble a little bit, if you will, calculated gamble, and I'll bring in another $260, $70 in credits for selling the other side. Whereas like the previous broker I was with, they will not allow you to do that unless you own these shares or unless you own the leaps. Where here, Tasty Trade's basically saying, we know you're good for it over here because you've already got the cash tied up on this cash secured put. They'll look at your buying power and they'll be like, dude, well, this dude can make good if he needed to. So why not give him the opportunity to bring more money through the door? Yes or no?
Absolutely. And they understand that, you know, if you're coming through that tasty way of trading, that you understand the mechanics, right? You understand how to be mechanical in what to do, what not to do, and how to, you know, make sure that your risk is calculated, you know. So that's the most important thing. So they really don't mind you taking that risk because it's expected that you know how to be mechanical with a trade like that.
Well, my thing is this. It's what I always like to say, and I'm going to minimize this so I can talk to you guys. Two things cannot be true, option. My $10 cash secured puts, 20 of those cannot be underwater and being challenged, while my $12 cover call is being underwater and being challenged if it's for the same expiration date.
Correct.
So I'm going to win one side of that trade, and I'm going to manage the side that's going against me. But if I have a wide enough quote unquote spread from 10 to 12, that's a real nice sweet spot that I've created there with CleanSpark. And also, I know that if shit were to start going up, I'm not going to wait till it gets out of hand. I'm just going to go buy those 1,000 shares of CleanSpark to take the pressure off of the position, because then it's no longer uncovered, and I would be managing an underwater covered call. And hell, that's where I've been living for the last 4 years. So what really has changed? But I had that opportunity to truly cash grab. Now we're cash grabbing in broad daylight. We don't have the beanies on. We don't have the face mask on. We're just saying, hey, this is where I'm at. Come catch me if you can, baby. So this is Wheeler's 301 and 401. Do I recommend it? I don't have financial licenses, so I'm going to say no. Do I recommend it for me? You bet your ass. Why? Because I know how to manage trades. And I have the bankroll to buy the damn shares. Or let me go buy some damn leaps. If this thing's going to be causing me problems, well, let me go at least take the ceiling off the upside. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm willing to go heavy. And I think that that's the teaching segment option. And I want you to take the lead on this. But I think whenever you get directional like that and you're not willing to like double or triple down, that's when it gets really, really dangerous. So when you make a commitment, you got to be willing to commit.
Exactly. And I mean, you know, it's about managing. Like you really wouldn't have to pick up the shares if you don't want to. If it starts
you can roll it. You can roll it.
Roll your puts down, manage your deltas, right? You know, and I think, you know, and it's just about knowing how to manage your deltas, keep your deltas intact, and follow the stop, right? Because if it comes up, then you can roll your put up. You see what I'm saying? Now it's all about the credits you take. If it keep going, you can buy the gut, sell a win. You can widen that spread back out, that strangle back out. So
option. I've heard you say that on the channel a few times now. What in the hell does that mean? Buy the guts and sell the wings? Because I'm eating chicken right now, so there might be wings and guts here right now. So talk to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, and if you know, most of you all know that I'd be a little aggressive, but to me, it's all about the credits that I take in. So if I'm aggressive, it makes it easier for me to manage my trade. So if I got a straddle in, you know, let's say CleanSpark is going against me to the upside, and I'm sitting on $4 to $5 in credit, I can now close that straddle out. If I want to stay in that same cycle or go to another expiration date, I can now restructure that strangle, giving back some of the credits that I've, you know, taken in. So it could still be a profitable trade, but it just allows for me to follow the stock a little bit so it doesn't get too much out of hand. And then wait for CleanSpark to just have its moment where it'll settle down.
Where it consolidates.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I tend to stay away from the shares because I don't need them.
Right.
You know, we really don't need them that much. But it's all about managing, you know, and managing is just staying mechanical, making sure that when your deltas get out of hand, you manage your deltas. You know, if your put deltas is at like 70, you know, yeah, you want to be able to cut those deltas to 30.
Right.
You know, and that's what it's about, you know, managing your deltas, man, managing the move, and you'll be fine.
And I think what you're basically saying in a roundabout way is when you're managing, you're eventually shooting to try to be delta neutral, essentially, on a position.
Correct. Because me technically, and I don't know how a lot of people trade, but I try not to trade direction, right? For me,
Right.
I trade the option prices, right? So I'm looking at the pricing of the options.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's how because majority of the time, the stock is going to stay within that expected move because sometimes volatility is overstated. So it's going to stay within the expected move. So I'm not going to be trading for a 10 to 15, 20% up move majority of the time. It happens, but it doesn't happen all the time. So I'm always utilizing, for one, high implied volatility, because if I trade volatility, I'm playing for a contraction within a certain within a certain move.
Right.
Makes it a lot more easier.
Where I am definitely bullish in the way that I trade. I believe that these stocks are going up and to the right eventually.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that that's where we all have our own styles and we got to make it work for us.
But that's eventually, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you can say, well, they're going to go up there tomorrow. It could happen, but tomorrow is still
unlikely.
The next day. You know, so I mean, it's for me, it's that way. And for me, I'm always trying to finance whatever, you know, if I'm bullish. So like Riot, you know, I got bullish on Riot because of, you know, I mean, right? So I got a position that I have on for the whole year but instead of buying the shares, I went out 300 and some odd days, created a synthetic 100 deltas. But now I think it had cost me like $9.75. Now, I don't like to pay cash.
No. Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is I'm selling a straddle in the closer dated cycles to reduce that 975. So I'm going to pay for the trade by just being mechanical, selling, taking in as much credit as I could take in, and then there you go. So it's just, you know, it's just managing.
So what you're saying is you're the Canal Street of options, right? You don't want to pay cash for anything.
No. I don't like debits. Now, I mean, I have to, like with Tesla, like right there, I'm getting spanked, right? But that's cool. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to manage it for the whole year. You know, so that's how I come in. I find my positions that I want to manage for the whole year, and then I'm just going to ride them out, and I'm just going to manage them. You know, taking my credits, you know, roll them, just everything I need to do for that whole year. And I mean, that platform allows for you to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It really does. It offers a lot of flexibility, but you got to learn what you're doing. It's like I just ordered the Tesla Model S Plaid. Let's type in Tesla TJ in the chat. I want to be known as Tesla TJ now. So hopefully I'll pick up the car here in the next couple of days. So I got a black on black, freaking awesome looking car.
Okay.
I looked at a lot of cars, bro, but I just think that for everything that the car does and everything that the car is, and the fact that there's very little maintenance with it, I just didn't see a better value for the money in the higher end market.
Okay.
I just truly didn't. And I looked at the S63 AMG. I looked at various Porsches because we're also the proud owners of a Porsche Panamera. I looked at everything. I even went California dreaming, and I looked at like some used Lamborghini Urus and the Bentleys and all that stuff because I wanted this car to be the car for me.
Exactly.
And dude, when I started looking at those types of cars and everything that they do and what they don't do, like drive themselves around and all that stuff, and have that capability, dude, I just didn't think there was better value than the Tesla. And just the fact that Tesla's faster than all those other cars that I mentioned too. Not that that's really that important to me, but
Yeah.
it's like insurance. It's like a gun. It's better like to have it than not need it than to like need it and not have it, you know, like that kind of thing. Somebody breaks in your house, you're like, man, I really wish I'd have bought that 12 gauge, right? It's a little too late. You know what I mean? Somebody dies unexpectedly. I really wish that we'd have had life insurance. It's a little too late, right? So I just thought that it was just, you know, a better deal. So anyway, back over here. Can y'all see the platform?
Yeah.
Awesome. So now I'm going to go over here to the positions. So that's what's going on with CleanSpark. So I'll minimize that one. Now let's talk about SoFi.
Click on your remember the symbols. Go up to the symbols right under beneath the group. Go to your right, the other symbol. Keep going right there. The symbols. Yeah, and go to yeah. That kind of let you know once you get to NEO, it's gonna be you got a whole lot more positions on the NEO, so that you understand it a little bit better.
So in SoFi, I think that SoFi is going up and to the right. I don't think it's going to happen right away though. And I've got 40 long calls at $20, and I'm underwater a little bit on those, right? Because the mark, you know, talking about what the mark is. The mark is the market, right? Like that's what the market price is right now. And then you have the trade. So this is what I paid, $325, and this is what it's worth. So at first it was real hard for me to see that because, like, you know, the other broker would just lay it out for you in a very Apple-esque way, right? Where it's very idiot-proof, if you will. Mm-hmm. It's foolproof. And here it's like you got to really learn how to read the tape a little bit, and I'll figure out how to get other important metrics on here. But for now, this is what we're rolling with.
Yeah.
So I paid $325. I could have waited, bought them on the open market today at $312. So this is all the positions that I had in the other portfolio. But y'all notice that I didn't just go buy 6,000 shares of SoFi because I saw something cracking in the technicals. I feel like the market is really, really wanting a little bit of a correction. So I was like, well, let me try to get along this stock another way, and let me run the poor man cover call campaign on SoFi. So I bought 40 leaps, and as soon as we have a couple of green days or whatever, I want to start ringing the cash register by selling 40 covered calls against this position so that I could start collecting some of these debits because I'm out $325 40 times over. So, you know, like 13 grand or whatever. So that's what's going on there with SoFi. Pretty straightforward. And then NEO, there's a lot more going on with NEO. So you want to walk them through that option and kind of tell them all the positions that you see there right there?
Yeah, so he got 2,000 shares, right? So he got the 2,000 shares. He bought those at $4.46 per share at the point. Now it's marking at $4.52. So he pretty much up on that trade. Then he sold a strangle around those shares, the 4 and the 4.5 in the 28-day. And then he got 20 more. What's that? 20 more short calls. And
another calls at $5.
Okay, 20, yeah. And then another 10 long calls.
So I got this thing going and coming right now.
Yeah.
And I am going to manage with those 450 calls. If it were to get out of hand, I'll kick them out. Mm-hmm. And I'll try to go to $5. And I'll also increase the $4 put to $4.50. So kind of playing that game that you're playing with Tesla, and I like talk about managing the trade, right?
Exactly. And I mean, another thing you can look at is if for me, right, and how I look at it, if I bought those 10 long calls out in June and I paid 64 cents per contract, that's what I'm gonna be selling that strangle, right? That strangle will be reducing the cost of those 10 contracts, right? Because that's a debit, and I will just keep strangling and straddling and rolling to each expiration, reducing that cost for those 10 long calls, because we gotta remember you bought it at the 10. So by buying it at the 10, every day you're losing on that
A little
trade.
bit of theta. A little bit of theta I'm losing.
So if I could be making money off of that strangle every day, which is positive theta, then I can reduce that cost. And if it never, go up, at least I reduce the cost of that trade.
Yeah, because essentially what I'm doing now, option is I'm playing a game called I gotta go get my money back because I'm out of money for the shares.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, that's working out for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also out money on the leaps. But the leaps is an eroding asset. So whenever you buy leaps, I feel like your mentality is I gotta go get that money back because every day it's costing me time, the time value of money, the theta decay.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't just sit on your hands and hope for the best. So then I sold some cash secured puts, sold a couple calls against that. So that created a strangle.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got the 10 leaps and I've got the 20 covered calls against
the shares, correct.
The 2,000 shares. So I feel like that's about as much as I can do with that position right now. And now we just got to wait a week or two and kind of see how it all plays out. Mm-hmm. And the reason it shows in the money is because the cover call at 450 is in the money because it's trading at 453.
Exactly.
Pretty straightforward. Once you really understand, you slow your mind down, you slow your eyes down, and you just read the tape. The reason that I loved Robinhood was because it was no-brainer investing. What does that mean? It was all laid out in front of you, and you didn't really have to think, right? Like you could just be like, okay, it's a 750 strike. It's trading at 753. This is my open P&L. I love the way they lay out the data. But they weren't giving me extrinsic value. They weren't giving me expected move. And they weren't giving me, because I've already seen it. They weren't giving me optimal fills either. I've already seen it, dude. I've done it on purpose. It was on NEO, 16, 18. Did it at 16. These bad boys filled me at 17. I guarantee you Robinhood would have filled me at 16.
Yeah, you get price improved on Tasty.
So I was just like, that's interesting. That's interesting. But let me tell you something that I really struggled with, though. Let's see if it'll go back over here to where we can see it. This is something that I struggled with. If we go over to activity here, we go to history. Let's go to history. So this here is the full transparency that I'm able to give y'all on this platform that I really wasn't able to give you guys before because it's all laid out for you on one sheet. This is almost like I quasi don't even need the wheel tracker unless I want to like really track my adjusted cost basis. So here, like I'll go through it on February the 14th, CleanSpark sold the cash secured put at 74. Got paid $74, right? $74 a contract times 10, so $740 in credits. And here it also lays out your commissions, like how much you're paying the brokerage. And then I bought one NEO call because this is when I had only deposited $1,000 into the account. So I bought one NEO call at 67. So that's how that worked out. And then you'll see the money movement. I'm just going to highlight the one that we're talking about. Can you guys see that option?
Yep. The ACH deposit.
Money movement. ACH deposit, $1,000. So you're getting all the transparency, the entire track record. And I have this set up on year to date as my filter because it just started, or you can customize it, right? You can do yesterday, today, 7, 14, 30, 60, 120 days, or year to date. Year to date works for me because it was after January the 1st anyway, so it's all going to be there. Only have this account for a week or two. Then it has here a regulatory fee adjustment, another ACH deposit. You guys will see that one of 24,000. So that's now 25,000. And then if we go up over here, we'll highlight the other one, and you'll see another 25,000. Where I went to school, that adds up to $50,000. Yes or no option?
Correct.
And what is the title of the live say? $50,000 portfolio challenge or whatever, whatever it is, right? So it all checks out. It all checks out. And then I bought more calls on NEO. I bought one and I bought 8 I really bought 9, but it was a partial fill of 1. And then they gave me the other 9 because I waited it out. You follow me?
Correct.
So that's what happened there. And then I bought 1,000 shares at $4.36. So it's all right there. And then I got on with you. This happened when you and I were doing our own private thing, right? Like a tutorial. Yeah. Then I was like, I want to sell more cash secured puts on CleanSpark because I want to get more money and throw the door. Because I feel like I've just been spending money. So now I want to bring some credits in because I'm a premium collector, right?
Correct.
So sold $10 puts and picked up $90 a contract. So that's 4 of them. There's another one. There's another one, another one, another one, another one. And that adds up to the 10. So that's how that worked out. And CleanSpark or Tasty Trade shows you how it all broke down. Like they're showing you the guts of the operation, right?
Right.
Whereas Robinhood wouldn't show you all of that. They're just going to give you the one lump sum. And then I was like, okay, cool. We need to bring some money to sell the other side. Because what did you say? It costs you nothing, or it does very little, though, to sell the other side.
Yeah.
So we sold the other side. So there's 1, there's 1, there's 9, there's 9. So that adds up to the 20 covered calls on NEO. Or I'm sorry, the call, the put. And then I was like, okay, well, I can't forget about SoFi. So this is where I started buying the leaps. So I bought 2, and then 6. And then NEO covered call, I guess, a NEO call, another 10 contracts. And then this is the movement of the money. And then there was another bought 1,000 shares this morning at 9:36 a.m. for $4.56. And then I was like, well, I got to sell some covered calls. So I sold the covered calls. So that's 1, 1, and 2. So that's 10 covered calls. And then I was like, well, this SoFi long call is not going in my favor. So I want to buy 20 more. And that's what I did, So I bought, it shows those 10 there. And then if I go to the call here on SoFi, that's 6. And if I'll go to the other call here on SoFi, that's 20, right? That's at 6, 16, 18, 20. And then if I go find SoFi again somewhere here, there should be.
If you want, you can just type in SoFi in the symbol and then it just put
right here
by itself. Yeah.
There we go. That's beautiful. So now it shows me the 16, 18, and the 20. So it's not showing me the other 20 that I bought, though. Because if I look over here to positions and I go to SoFi here, so I wonder if it takes like a data update. You see how I have 40?
It doesn't. But let me give you another view. Click over there by the account. Pull out that remember the order chains onto your right hand side, all the way to the right hand side where it say accounts.
This guy right here or no?
To my right. No, the other. Yeah, on the other to my right.
Right here.
Your left. Your left. All the way to your left. What? No. All the way to the other side, the opposite side.
Way over here.
Yeah, but not that. But click the other, pull that out, correct, and come down to the order chains. The second one, the third one from the bottom, right there. Come down, right there. Next one. Yep, right there. Now you can also see your positions there as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so the 20 equals to 40. Yeah. Love it, dude. I mean, it's all there. You just got to learn how to navigate it. And I've only watched like 3 videos so far. They got like 20 videos on how to use this platform, dude.
Yeah.
And so then you also get the email.
Hold on. Click on NEO.
1 second. I got some emails that I'm looking at on the background. Okay.
Click on NEO.
This guy right here?
Yeah. And open that up again. Open up that same and see how that breaks down. The day you put the trade on, what the credit was, how much you made, up your average cost, where it's marking. The only thing this doesn't show is the shares.
Right.
So, that's another way to, be able to manage your credits and how much you paid for certain things and how much credit you got in. It gives you your real base costs as well. Mhm.
Love it. So now, Option, I want you to take the lead, brother. I want you to take the lead, and I want to go here to positions.
Okay.
And I want you to educate me while I'm eating and the audience on the delta and the theta and the extrinsic value. Like, what are you reading up there? Like, what's important to you?
All right.
Like, how do you look at your portfolio health, if you will?
Okay. And we'll fix this up. I mean, because you just got into this one, so we'll fix this up to where it'll be more in sync. But for me, it's the vehicle, right? So this is your vehicle, and then you got your gauges. So you always want to know what your gauges, are doing. And for me, it helps for me to stay mechanical. So if I got my up here, you got your delta, you got your theta, but you're missing the vega. But like I said, we'll fix this up. Those three metrics or Greeks really tell you a lot about your portfolio. So say for instance, your delta, that means, and they beta weighted to the SPY, meaning that they take your whole total portfolio, and based off of how long you are determines the movement in the SPY, and it can kind of give you a roundabout idea how much your portfolio will be down. So if you are 100, you got 136 long beta weighted deltas, so when you know that you are bullish because it's not negative. If it was negative, then it would be a negative 136 beta weighted deltas. So that lets you know your direction. So if you was neutral, your deltas would be a lot close to zero, like 5 or 10. You know what I'm saying? And then your theta numbers. Your theta numbers really matter. In a smaller account, it doesn't. You see what I'm saying? But your theta numbers matter because theta is risk to a degree. And the idea is to stay between 0.01 to 0.03% of your net lick of your total account value. So that makes sure you staying within a range to where if the market got too wild, you will be able to, continue to make some money and be safe as well. And then, you have your extrinsic value. Your extrinsic value is always supposed to be positive, right? Even though you have a negative extrinsic value, is because you have those negative. Exactly. But if you know what you have on, it's better. And like I said, the other thing is we missing is Vega. So Vega plays a part, right? Because you have short Vega, you have long Vega. It just depends on how you want the market to move. If you long Vega, that means you expecting for the market to just continue to go up. If you short Vega, you playing for a contraction. You see what I'm saying? So I look at that a lot, to make sure that I keep everything within intact, especially as your portfolio gets bigger, right? Because you don't want to be too long and you don't want to have too less theta. You don't want to have too much theta. You see what I'm saying? And when you see those things and they out of whack, then that means you have to go in, kind of make a few adjustments to your position, put on a position that you might not even want to put on, and just neutralize your theta numbers. So that's how I kind of use that metric. And I'm telling you, it's a very important metric to know, because so many people that just be buying and selling and trading and they don't even really know how things are moving. So that's a very important metric with
this is what I've learned in the last year or so in my journey, Option, is that the first 3 years I spent wheeling options, I only looked at whether or not I was in the money or out of the money. That's it.
Yeah.
And then I started playing with this platform, because I've been on this platform for about a year, for those of y'all that don't know.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to sell myself on it. Because it was like becoming a pilot, and it seems like a good opportunity because your rich uncle gave you a G6. That's a great opportunity, right? But until you realize you don't know how to fly. So you started seeing that a lot of these, people that are operating at higher levels mentally. See, I might be making more money than a lot of these people, but there's a lot of these folks that are trading that have a lot more knowledge as yourself. So I was like, well, I know how to make money. I'll sell puts, I'll sell calls, collect premium, roll when it makes dollars and cents. Keeping it real simple. But then I was like, what is that gauge for? What is that gauge for? Because I'm looking at this amazing Gulfstream, right? Or whatever. And I started understanding what all of these gauges were. And I realized that Robinhood wasn't ever going to give me those gauges because that wasn't important to them. They want to give me confetti on the screen when I buy fucking shares. And I was just like, why is that? Because surely they have these metrics too. But maybe they don't want to know that there's an illusion on my account going on that says I'm the casino, but in actuality, I might be the gambler.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because there are some casinos that are over levered at times and they go bankrupt. Whereas here, when I really started to, and I don't fully understand it yet, just full disclosure, I'm still learning here. I realized that I have been a little too directional on the market. And a lot of times, what saved me was Vega contraction. Because I was always in those binary events.
Yeah.
And then the Vega would, go away. Well, the volatility goes away, the IB crush. And then boom, the portfolio looks good again. Because I started understanding the cause and effect. And I think that having all of these metrics right in front of you and understanding how to read those gauges and see what it is that you're actually looking at, you're like, my goodness, dude, I feel thankful that the plane stayed in the air as long as it did.
Yeah.
Because I was doing a lot of like refueling midair, you know what I'm saying? Where they send you the plane and they throw the hose at you. We've all seen it in the movies. It's amazing to watch.
Especially with your account size, right?
Yeah.
You have to do that. Now, I mean, a smaller account, yeah, you have to take a little bit more risk, so those things would be out of whack. But with a larger account, man, it's just, man, you can just sit back and, you can just collect, right?
Yeah. And the fact that on the platform, you know how much data you're collecting every day.
And then you break it down to months. How, if you got, a certain amount of data, how much you want to make from that data in a month? You see what I mean? So if you got 200 data numbers, let's say that's $6,000, you want to take 20, 30, 25 to 30% of that, you make 1,500 on that alone. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it just depends on how, how you play it. And like I say, if you can't always play direction, because direction is not always going to be there.
Right.
If it comes, then, you set up to benefit from it. But why not benefit when it's not there? No.
I love it. I love it. But I am also maintaining true to thyself, meaning I do like to own more shares than most.
Yeah.
So I put the shares on that I think are going to double in the next year or two. So I bought the 2,000 shares of NEO, but I was like, hey, let me slow down a little bit. Because if I can make just as much money without having to own these damn shares, I sleep a lot easier at night. That's just the reality of it, dude. Yeah. Because, having 150,000 freaking shares of SoFi and Riot and knowing that shit's going to fluctuate 150, 300 grand every freaking day, after a while, it wears on you a little bit. Option.
It wore on me, and I didn't even have it
on you a little bit. It really does, dude. It wears on you.
It was wearing on me, and I wasn't even in the position.
It wears you out. It wears you out.
You don't want that volatility in your account, man. It's just too much, right?
So I was just like, okay, well, what if I could create the deltas with a fraction of the buying power? That way I have all of this cash to play where I really shine, and that's cash secured puts and put credit spreads.
Exactly, man.
But if I see all those gauges in front of me, I can really position myself accordingly. But if not, do I want a user interface that's just easy to read? But then I don't really have an accurate diagnosis of what's going on with the account. So it's kind of like that's the gimme and the gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I had to sacrifice simplicity because I was ready to graduate to another level in my game. So am I here pitching everybody to make these moves? No, you're not going to hear that on this channel because this is my journey. It's a lot like being a Christian. This is my spiritual walk. This is my walk with Christ. My walk is not your walk. You're never going to see what I've seen, just like I'm never going to see what you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. But we all want to like share our experiences and learn from our experiences. That way it cuts your learning curve. That's what life is. And this is where I'm at on my journey now. This is something that I was trying to do anyway. Our hand was forced, so to speak. So now it happened faster, and I'm thankful for it. Was it frustrating for about a week? Kind of, but at the same time, dude, I don't have the bags under my eyes or anything because I've been sleeping real good, not having to monitor the market. We only got 4 positions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but dude, it's weird. I've never had these many squatters in my life. So anyway, dude, it's been absolutely awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for rocking with me. Once everything gets settled in, you guys are going to see the seminar. Everything's going to be back on the channel. I'll have Alex work on all that. But I just wanted to make sure there was no hiccups. But what you're not going to see is me talking trash about a platform that helped to groom me as a wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about that, first of all. That's just not how I roll.
Correct.
Dude, it's really, really good if you're okay just keeping it simple, stupid. It's really good, but I'm too curious in nature. I want to know what's going on, like why it's really happening and how I could really understand these Greeks at another level and the impact that they truly have on your overall portfolio performance.
I mean, that's true. Because we know that options are not just based off of directional movement.
No.
It's Greeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it makes all the sense. And especially if as your account get bigger, it just makes sense that you have to not be so directional and work the market universally. You know what I'm saying? It's just, makes sense.
Can y'all tell that I've lost a little bit of weight already? I'm on my way. I'm on my journey, baby.
Yeah.
I'm on my journey. Down about 12 pounds now since the beginning of the year.
Okay, shit, that's wonderful.
And got about another 40 to go.
Oh, yeah.
About another 40 to go. And slow and steady, though, baby. Slow and steady.
Man. That's how you win.
Drinking this crap right here, which I probably need to quit and just drink water.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't pick up.
Doing a lot of like the chicken soups and stuff because that's another way for me to get water in the system.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like doing water.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome, dude. So anyway, let me talk to y'all about the format now. Let me talk to y'all about the format of the channel. We're down to the 4 horsemen, right? It's STAR, SoFi, Tesla, Amazon, right? Those are the 4 stocks that are going to be featured. And then I'm going to bring on Uzi options onto the channel as well. You met Uzi. He's your like option soulmate. And he is going to help us with technicals. So whenever I sell a cash secured put or a covered call, he's going to see how it's all lining up with the technicals and stuff to make sure that we're getting optimal value. So it's like, okay, now I got this fancy plane. It's got a bunch of gauges. You got to bring on a couple of co-pilots. You got to bring on a couple of co-pilots. So Option's been kind enough to really, really help me. And I'm going to bring on a gentleman who has a really, really high technical prowess.
Correct.
I'm pretty good at the technicals. I just don't like spitting those technicals anymore because I'm convinced that 80% of it's like a bunch of horse shit anyway. But it does, seem to play a little bit of a role when it comes to shove. It has its place. It has its place. And I want to offer that on the channel as well. So I reached out to Uzi and we're going to do something. We're going to do something. And then I'm also looking for someone. So this is an open invitation to anybody. who's really, really good at reading financial statements. So somebody like a Bill White, because I want to spend time on the M's of these four companies. Like I want to spend time on the moat, the management, specifically the money, and really understand like what's going on with these companies. You know, really, what is going on with these companies? Like, do they got money? Are they making money? Where's the money? Like, where is the money? Follow the money. So I want to really, really focus a lot more on the technicals, a lot more on the money, a lot more on the research of those four bad boys. And then there's only going to be like 3 to 4 cash grabs going on. So it's going to be very, very specific, but a lot more in-depth knowledge and how I'm looking to like really position. These are going to be huge, huge positions that we're going to be featuring on the portfolio. So I gotta know, you know what I mean? Like I gotta know what's going on with Riot, what's going on with this valuation, what's going, you know, because they're doing this HPC AI valuation. So I need to know where they're at with that. So I'm going to be doing a lot of like investigative journalism on these particular stocks, because if you're going to be one of the four horsemen, you know, right now the horse is named Star, you know, SoFi, Tesla, Amazon, and Riot, you're going to have to carry your weight.
Yeah.
And y'all are going to be very, very surprised. The first one that's on the chopping block of the four horsemen. Everybody thinks it's right. It's not. The name of that company is called Amazon. Because there's about $2 million tied up in Amazon, and Amazon's only yielding about $10,000 to $15,000 a month in premium. That might not be good enough to stay in that portfolio. You got to carry your weight. You got to carry your weight, because my hamburger stand likes cash flow. My hamburger stand requires and demands cash flow. So I'm going to be looking at all of these things, man. It's going to be a real deep dive into the mind of TJ the Wheel Deal, and predominantly featuring the small account. That way it's very, very, very relatable. Now, let's not have a funeral for Amazon yet. I'm not saying I'm going to pick it. I'm not saying I'm going to cut Amazon. I'm just saying that it has to pull its weight. So I may look for the same exposure without having to own so many shares. So I may trim those shares and go leaps, because I think Amazon's going to 300. I just don't know when. And I can free up some of that capital, pump it in over to Tesla, where I'm going to get a lot more money on cash secured put and covered calls. So I'm going to be looking to make some moves within the four horsemen, but cutting Amazon completely, that ain't going to happen. That is not going to happen. But I may change my exposure, because I need to get a certain amount of cash flow out of my hamburger stand. If not, that menu item just is not going to make the cut. Not going to make the cut. Anyway, guys, I hope y'all enjoy that. Also, for the people that are paying the higher dollar with me on the membership, we're studying for the Series 7. So it's going to be 4 days a week, about an hour and a half, and 2 Saturdays per month, about 2.5 hours, 3 hours on the Saturday. And we're going to get through everything to so that everybody would be ready to take the Series 65 about 90, 120 days from now. And there will be a playlist for that. So if you're not able to attend that session, it'll be in the can for you. So it'll be TJ the Wheel Deal goes to school or whatever. That'll be a playlist for you guys. So if you have that, the $99 a month plan, the one that also gives you the FaceTime with me once a week, and you blow up my phone, text messages, I'm pretty good about messaging you back and all that stuff as well. But it is predominantly for people that want to go to school. We're going to go to school. I'm going to become legit. That way I can, quote unquote, charge for financial advice, because I look at a lot of y'all's portfolios. And I always say things like, I can't legally tell you what to do. I'm only telling you what I would do. I don't want to have to say that stuff anymore. I don't want to have to be running the banners. I don't want to have to be running this banner on the channel that says not financial advice. I don't have to do it. So the easiest way to do it is just to become legit. And also, the way that my life is set up with having all of these trading authorizations and stuff, I just want to make sure that I'm fully covered, like fully covered. That way there's no issues. I'm sleeping absolutely well at night. Anyway, guys, I got to get rocking and rolling because the one thing that I always also want to do is limit all of these lives to about an hour. Because I don't want to live on YouTube. That's just not my thing. I got to get rocking and rolling. TJ, the Wheel Deal, signing off as always. May your sky stay blue, stock green. Peace out. God bless you guys. We'll see you on the next one.